Welcome to Acorn to Oak with Pennie Quaile-Pearce and co-host Matthew Donnachie. Within each acorn, there is the DNA that strives to be a mighty oak tree. All it needs to reach its potential for greatness is to be activated. You are the acorn. On this show, we will share with you the tools and guidance you need to grow into the person you are meant to be. And now your host, Pennie Quaile-Pearce and co-host Matthew Donnachie.
Hi, good evening everybody. It's Matthew Donnachie here. Unfortunately, Pennie can't be with us this evening, so again, fortunately, I'm joined by Adam Weller.
Hello everybody, good evening. Hope you're all safe and well at the moment.
Yeah, interesting times where we find ourselves in. We're currently in week 3, I think, of lockdown. So this evening we wanted to very much open the discussion and talk about some of the things that we found have come from the coronavirus and positives, and that's the inspiring people that these uncertain times have brought to the forefront. It's like times we're inspired by some remarkable people who seem to rise when everybody else seems to be falling. It's like the rise of the phoenix from the fire, and it inspires especially me to sort of raise our game and all of us really to commit to fulfilling our highest potential. One of the things that really touched me this week was the Queen did a speech, and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, I think the Queen over the last 20 years has only made 4 formal addresses, and it really blew me away because it was an address to inspire the nation and to remind us that a calm, self-disciplined resolve of action and humour would get us through this until we all meet again. And she said that to all medical workers working tirelessly to save lives in hospital all around the world, it's a level of personal bravery that most of us can't even fathom. They're human, so they are fearful. Yet despite their fear, they go into ICU'S, into hospital wards, and out in public, in other areas, obviously the social workers as well. And they face that fear. And there's a courageous act of pure bravery and a commitment to serve humanity. And it really blows me away. The Queen was also encouraged the British people to reflect on what we've all been and what we will be during this time in history, and let the generations of the future be proud of the stand that we make right here, right now. And this is a hugely emotive subject for most of us. Many people are fearful, worried for their families, for their friends and themselves. And so this is why we wanted to sort of do this show and get people really united and get people focused on the positives, because when I heard the Queen's speech, and actually one of my favourite lines throughout was when she spoke about it, reflecting and using this time to reflect on who you are and what you've been and who you're going to be, and it's choosing that stance of strength and being a beacon of light for others. And I know there's been a lot of celebrities that have been endorsing a lot of good things, and when I say that, I'm not talking about 5G conspiracies here. I'm talking about real good, honest things. One guy from from Scotland, James McAvoy, he was in the X-Men. He gave £275,000 of his own money to provide masks and gloves for key workers that were out there and didn't have enough of these essential items. And that's just one celebrity that can inspire so many people. And I think it's important for people to remember, like, it's just as much about the small people as the celebrities, and it's I've seen so much stuff within communities, and I know there's a guy that's set up doing PE lessons for kids online, and he's raised, I think it's like £80,000 for charity, and it's just amazing when you look beyond the fear and what's actually going on. You look at how we're reacting to it, and yeah, sure, there's a lot of people that are buying into the fear, and it is really affecting them. But it's a case of saying, well, when there's a storm, you've just got to huddle all together. It's like the buffalo. When it sees a storm, it knows the quickest way through it is to walk straight through and all together. And you have the strong on the outside and the weak and more vulnerable on the inside. And you can see that happening globally, where, again, we were out on the street at 8 o'clock this evening, clapping for the NHS and key workers, all the dustmen, the firemen. There's a lot of sort of focus towards just the NHS, but again, it's remembering everybody, all the key workers, that without them, our lives wouldn't be as easy as they are. And we've got used to life being real easy, and so this is almost testing us, and it's how you respond to that.
It really does. It in these times, it gives you that chance to reflect on it, because it is that massive change, and it is great to see that the more and more people are standing up and giving what they can. I mean, the Queen's speech, I think 99.9% of the country could say that's exactly what they needed to hear.
Yep.
But she was only doing what she could do. And James McAvoy, he was only doing what he could do. And if everybody just does what they can do, I mean, I was watching a video, a guy called Ron Dennis. He basically used to run and own McLaren Formula One team.
Yeah.
And he's doing this video, and he's basically said that him and his family had a conversation, and it's like, listen, we need to do something here. And in this video, he's basically saying, he was like, well, ultimately, something needed to be done. I saw a problem. What he actually done was he's arranged food packages for nurses and that, so that they can eat on the go and that sort of thing. Cause
brilliant.
That's where they were lacking. But it was a case of, he's basically said, I happen to be in a fortunate position because I have friends that have been fortunate in their careers. Yeah. And he said, out of the 15 people or 15 companies I approached, no one said no. And that's the thing. It's like he was just doing what he could do. But
yeah, absolutely.
No one says no to Ron Dennis. And when he's getting behind something like this, it flies. And it's like, okay, you may not be able to offer millions of pounds in food packages to the NHS staff, but there is something you can do. And it is about just taking that little glimpse of that and using what some of the famous people are doing and saying, yes, I can help, whatever that may be,
Yeah, and I think it's very appropriate. Like it goes to show that I know a lot of people sort of think that a solution to every problem is just to throw more money at it, and it really goes to show that in some cases, yes, of course, that's helpful, but in a lot of cases, actually, it's really not the money that's needed. It's the love, the support, and the passion of people, of the little people getting together. There's an Indian restaurant that's offering free meals to the NHS staff, so that if they're feeling too tired to cook, or they're actually not earning enough to feed themselves well, they can get a good meal once a day from there on their way home. And it I don't know about America, but in England, it really has opened people up and people's hearts, and it on a global level, on a spiritual level, it's really quite amazing to watch, because you've got two types of people, and you've got the ones that seem to be running around in ever diminishing circles and buying into the fear, and it's almost like their survival mode is buying into the fear. And then you've got the people that are sort of seeing it for what it is and seeing the bigger picture, and responding to it in a positive way, because I think there's so much stuff. I mean, the media can be very informative and good in some ways, but in other ways it can just breed fear, and so I think it's important for people to speak out and actually say, no, hey, look, there's a big global waking up here. This is a lesson. This is something that we can all learn from, and it's how you respond to the given situation.
It's something I noticed, and it was sort of more as we was approaching the lockdown, that initially there was the panic buy-in, the fear, and I think for a lot of people it was just that I'm looking after me and I'm getting this and I'm getting that, and there wasn't really that consideration. Once the actual lockdown had hit, and yes, it's here and it's happening and we're living it, there was a flip, and it went a little bit from it's all about me and getting my toilet roll and making sure I've got enough pasta, and I just saw this flip from fear to compassion, and very much like you say, there are so many people that are sort of opening their hearts in different ways, and the heartfelt messages, and we have a thing going in England where like the kids that are off school are doing like rainbow pictures and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
Almost every house up and down every street has got one in it, and it's just like, that's love, that's respect,
it's everything we've been missing, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
While we've been out busy trying to earn money and fulfill our need,
take over the world,
our wants, not our needs. That's why I say for me especially, I find it a very exciting time. And I mean, my inspiration sort of comes from, I was speaking to one of my clients today, and I said, I'm even when I get moments where I'm in fear or I'm slightly anxious around what could happen, and we're talking moments of it, I just bring it back to, well, I'm not going to allow that in. I'm not going to allow myself to be affected by this. I mean, obviously, if I get the virus, I may be physically affected, but I'm in lockdown, so that's very unlikely. But am I going to allow this to affect my mental state? No, not even for a second, because it's seeing the situation for how it is, and we're all in this together. And it's, for me, it's in those moments, it's thinking about people that are less fortunate, and very much like Adam was saying, it's doing what you can. So it's supporting people around you. If you've got clients that you support, it's supporting them. It's family members, and if you haven't got that support network, as we've said in previous shows, it's about finding that. And what I really like is following people that inspire you. There's a lot of celebrities at the moment are doing their thing in very, very many other ways. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's done some stuff. Pink, I believe, has done some stuff as well. George Bowie did from Scotland did a wicked set. And there's like Capital FM have done a virtual house party, and there's all sorts of different stuff going on. And I think it's really good because it just keeps people positive and shows people that actually, that there is some adjusting to do here. But it's keeping the focus and looking to people that inspire you and keep you upbeat and keep you on your path. And for those that are feeling lost and are waking up spiritually and finding things overwhelming and things like that, it's looking to people for sensible advice and tools that can help you deal with that. It's very much what we're all about, and it's times like this I feel grateful for the tools that I've got to deal with it and teach others, because it's really helped me on a day-to-day basis. Just let go of the fear, because even just a conversation or when you do a necessary shop, you do hear people talking, and so many people are glum about it, and it's kind of like you just got to see the positive side of it and realise that there's more of us on the same team than there are negative zombies at the moment, for want of a better expression.
I mean, it's one of my favourite sayings is, worrying's like a rocking horse. it'll give you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere. And, you know,
I like that.
it very much is that. It's like, yes, you can worry about it, and you can, or you can choose to do different. And, you know, in those times of need, you know, a lot of us find we have a lot more time on our hands now, rather than just sitting down and binge watching a program about a man that had lots of cats. You know,
yeah.
sit and watch something inspirational. You know, I mean, for me, something like I quite like watching a lot of sort of Will Smith's videos. He comes out with lots of little snippets and little statements, and it doesn't have to have any bearing on what's going on at the you know, at this current moment with the coronavirus. But just find someone inspirational to watch, whether it be on YouTube, you know. For the spiritual side of things, I like a lot of the SRF stuff.
I know Awake is on, I think it's on Netflix at the moment still, or it could be Prime. Paramahansa Yogananda story is
well worth a watch.
Yeah, it's something I watched a couple of weeks ago, and it's using things like this, like you say. If you're going to spend some time watching TV, take something that's inspirational, and again, it's people online that sort of inspired me. That I haven't actually done it yet, but I thought, what a great idea. There was a guy that was planning to learn language, or try and learn a language in a week, and there was sort of a few people that had said that they were going to do the challenge as well, and it's sort of upbeat and that sort of thing. And I love this sort of positivity and the real stuff, because something else I've noticed within social media is there's so much. I guess the best expression would be love and light out there, which is usually posting a vain picture of yourself to empower other people to do the same thing. And it's just like, really, come on. If you're going to do something that doesn't involve you taking a picture of yourself, and write an inspiring poem or do something worthwhile, because some of these things I just find frustrating, because you think, well, people are only trying to do good, but actually they're not really helping people, really.
It ends up being more look at me than look at this issue.
And it's kind of like, well, how bothered are you about the subject you're talking about, as opposed to how you look in the photo? And again, that's what a lot of that is. Some of it I've noticed a lot less on social media, but there have been rounds of that. But what I also like is there's been a lot of awareness around sort of just how. So right, we're going into a break in a moment. So
your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs, and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So the first part of the show, we were very much talking about obviously celebrity and people who seem to have, we use the expression of rising up like a phoenix when from the fire. And so we wanted to spend sort of like the second part of the show doing what we can and doing our part in just helping you, telling you about what we're using in our daily lives to help us get through the times and make it actually very, very easy and quite joyful, because we can pass on our teachings and hopefully inspire some of you and then make the experience easier for some of you. So we are going to be doing a couple of YouTube videos that will be on the Acorn to Oak site, but very much within my daily practice. Certain things are just really, really important to slow yourself down in the morning and gain focus before you actually really engage in your day. So for me, I know Adam and I very much have the same practice, and for me it usually starts with healing sounds, which is a Hawaiian huna technique and is designed to just balance masculine, feminine energy and just clearing emotions within the body with a really quite a simple breathing technique, but found it really effective for just sort of slowing you down a little bit. And then I do a grounding and protection, which is something that I was taught along with the Reiki side of things. And this just helps you, again, energetically, just straightening your heart line, getting grounded and protected and connected. And then I do some chanting and I do meditation. And if I could recommend anything more than anything else that you should be trying is meditation. We've got lots of time on our hands, and I don't know whether it's talked about in your country, but even our Queen is talking about it over here. And I mean, I've got to own, when I heard meditation come out the Queen's mouth, I was literally jumping off the sofa. It was like, yeah, go Liz. It was amazing. But I find doing the healing sounds and the grounding and protection just helps slow down that sort of monkey mind and helps focus a little bit on the body. So you've got the mind, body and the spirit, and it's just, so yeah, helping to slow the body down, helping to slow the mind down, so that when you actually meditate, and the most important thing with meditation is position. And it doesn't matter whether you're on a chair, whether you're sat on the floor, whether you have your legs crossed or uncrossed, as long as you're sitting square on your sitting bone and your back is straight and your chin is 90 degrees to the ground, that's the prime position. So whatever's comfortable for you, you don't have to have a meditation pose to meditate. So if meditating is on a chair, just as effective. It's not going to affect you if you're not sitting on the floor. But it really helps me just connect with what's really going on, and you find the peace within meditation. There's nothing like it. And so for me, they're just a few of the energetic tools that I would use in the morning, just to focus. Obviously we use Breath for Life breath work as well. So I have done breath work since the lockdown, and that's just to clear some of the fear and worries that I had up, because I love the expression Adam gave earlier about worrying. because the one I use is worrying is like praying for what you don't want. It's just going to bring more. So those are just some of the energetic ones, and like I say, there'll be a couple of videos up on our channel. And if you require any information, just get in touch. And if you'd like some more information on these techniques so that you can start using them at home, then great. Because one thing Penny's always said to me is like, don't believe what I say when I'm teaching you. Go out and test it, sort of thing. It's almost like saying, go and see if I'm wrong. And by testing it, not only when you get that realization that it is real, oh wow, it does, well, oh, that can happen, oh, it does actually make things a lot easier. Yeah, it just makes the learning even better.
Well, it's like you can't argue with your own experiences.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like...
All the time someone's telling you it'll make a difference, and you think, oh well, yeah, I don't know about that. And then you try it and you think, cool, yeah, that really made a difference. Because that's what I noticed within my life, that actually when you get used to meditating and it becomes part of your natural practice, boy oh boy, do you notice when you don't meditate. And it's kind of like, I've had days where I'm thinking, Jesus, is everybody out to get me? Like, have I missed something? Have I got a kick me sign on my back? Because I just seem to be attracting negativity. And then I think, well, did I meditate this morning? And the chances are I was like, oh no, I missed it this morning. And so, yeah, for me, one of the things that I'd really recommend in these times is meditation, and just learning to slow down and be with your emotions a little bit. And yeah, if I know there's people that are struggling with emotions at the moment, and that's why we wanted to do the show around inspiring people, because whether you're looking at what other people are doing or whether you're looking to investigate, it's like, when you've got the time, look online, like use, if all you've got at the moment is technology, it's like, use that, because sure, you're only looking at people through a screen, but if you can find some inspiring people online yourself to help inspire you, it can just lift your mood.
Yeah, and it is, you know, sort of like I was saying earlier, with find someone inspirational to watch. It's find some of these videos, you know, like I say, we're going to have some up on the Acorn to Oak YouTube pretty soon. But it's going out, it's finding a grounding and protection video, and maybe see if you can find a healing sounds thing, or find something that resonates and something that works with you. You know, it's putting it to good use. And I mean, I think very much like you've just said, you know, having a morning routine and having it's like building a house, having that solid foundation to start the day will set you off in the right way. And
yeah,
you know, like if you think around spiritual law, sort of as within, so without. So, you know, if there's chaos going around outside you, you may not be able to control that. But if you can get inside, whether it be through meditation or maybe even just going and sitting in the garden, out in nature, whatever it is for you, but if you can find that peace and you can hit that peace, then you will carry that through the day, and whether conscious of it or not, you're changing the outside world because you're spreading peace as such.
You're being one of those inspiring people that is
exactly.
inspiring you, because by like you said, you watch a Will Smith video in the morning, and you may pass someone on your daily exercise during lockdown and have to have a conversation, and they're feeling all glum, but then you explain to them, well, I saw this video about Will Smith, and it was really, really good. And that person goes away feeling a little bit better. And then when they get home, they look on that YouTube channel and they look at what Will Smith said. And not only does it inspire them, but it inspires the family that are watching around them as well. And then when that family speaks to their friends on the phone later on that evening, they share with them that video that they've heard about, some guy in the park told me about, and it was amazing. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of people have benefited just because you watched something and you spoke out about something that inspired you. And this is where we think that small acts of kindness and small things that we're doing do have a huge effect on what's going on around us, and we have this almost overinflated ego where we think we're too good for some things, but then we underestimate ourselves when we think that the small things don't matter. And it's just kind of like, it's like that bit of twisted ego. But for me, it's just kind of like, it's really doing your bit. Be one of those inspiring people, because it doesn't matter whether you're famous and you're giving away £1 million, or whether nobody knows who you are and you're giving a meal for free to somebody that hasn't got any food. Like, we can all do our bit, and the money doesn't matter. Like I said, some problems, throwing money at it can help, but most problems don't require that. They require people to come together and have compassion for others, and in times like this, show that actually there's a different way of being, and we don't. Yeah, sure. There's days that I wake up and I'm a little bit scared and anxious and not really know what's going on, and this, that, and the other. But that's a choice, and I choose to do it differently. And if nothing else, if people are inspired and think, "Wow, crikey, if he can do it, I can do it," which is exactly the attitude you should have. It's then great. I've done something. I've done my bit, and I may only see it as a little bit, but who knows? You could inspire thousands of people, and yeah. So there's lots of other stuff that you can do daily, and just connecting with different people. Obviously, we've got time off at the moment. Everybody is on lockdown. If you're feeling lonely, it's like, as I said earlier, you use the technology to connect with a few people a day, or challenge yourself to once a week for the next 12 weeks or however long we're in lockdown, connect with an old school friend. I mean, if you want to go wild and do one a day, go for it, but connect with an old school friend that maybe you lost touch. And we all make up stories of, oh, well, maybe they weren't there for me when I thought they were, and well, maybe you weren't there for them at a time. But it's kind of like that. Times like this, it makes you realise that life's too short to be worrying about petty things.
Yeah.
And if we're worried about the petty things, well, it's because we're worried about the petty things that we've got lost in this world. Because all we've been focused on is money. And this is the big lesson. It's like we can half the people in the country aren't working, maybe more, and yet we're coming together more for each other than we ever have, and we're doing that with less money. So huge changes can come from this if enough people realise that and keep going the way that we're going at the moment when there isn't lockdown. My God,
we have the opportunity really to sort of redefine normal.
Yeah,
it's what we've been doing, how we've been living. On a sort of almost on a selfish level, it works, and the world's going by, and it is what it is. But we're abusing the planet. We don't know our next door neighbour's first name.
Yeah.
And we sort of seem to be distancing, and it's like as a world, it's almost like we've been shaken and gone, right, guys, you're going to get this. And it's like, so we now have the ability to, sort of, without it sounding grandiose or anything, but recreate our future. Let's change from this day forward. Let's step forward. Let's not, when this is all over, go, oh yeah, right, that was good, and well, I'm not going to bother talking to them anymore, and I'm not going to show my appreciation, and I'm not going to smile at someone as I walk past. Let's build from this, but let's build better. We've been given a great opportunity, and especially with things like, the old schoolmate that didn't come to your 18th birthday and you was really annoyed. You draw a line in the sand, because, so many people are losing their life to this and that sort of thing. And it's just like, this is having massive impact on so many people, and it's impacting everybody in some way. So let's take the good from it, and let's learn from the bad, because if you do that, and for some of us that may mean having a little bit of a look at ourselves and our own behaviour and the things that we do or don't do and that sort of thing, but why not use this time? You know, we don't have the excuse of I haven't got enough time at the moment. You know, and don't get me wrong, that's not to say there aren't those that are still working mega long shifts and that sort of thing, but, you know, for the majority of us that have, I mean, very much like myself, you know, I'm not working at the moment, so I do have quite a lot of time, and it's, you know, I've been being real honest, I found it quite interesting the times that I've been a bit lazy with my practice and the effect that that's had and that sort of thing, but also, you know, with everything that I've been taught and all the tools that we've gained over the years through our training, it's like I'm not settling for sitting in my stuff and listening to the monkey mind and all the stories and the worries and the fears in my head. It's like there are days, 2, 3, 4 days where I'm on my own. So it's like, am I really going to listen to this chatter for 4 days, or am I going to do something about it? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, some of the simple ones are most effective, but for me, if I get into that, if I can't have a conversation with someone and just, right, here's where I'm at, this is what's going on, yep, great, I hear you, you know, I'll journal it, so just get pen and paper, write it down. You don't even need to read it afterwards, but don't make it run, just let whatever needs to come out. The thoughts that come in your head, put them on the paper.
Yeah.
Because in doing that, you're getting them from your head, you're taking them out of your head and putting them on the paper.
Yes.
So simple, but so effective. And it's like, try it, you know, once again, very much like Matthew says, don't take my word for it, try it. You know, if you wake up and you feel a bit grotty and the me, as I call them, starts and it's this and it's that and me.
Yeah.
Write them down and burn it, throw it in the bin, it doesn't matter, but write them down and let them go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see the difference, you know, it's like, oh, I haven't got to worry about that, and then get on and go for spreading a bit of joy and happiness through your day, because, yeah, I mean, if you think coronavirus is infectious, try spreading joy, because, you know, that'll spread quick.
Well, it's a lot better than trying to spread fear, isn't it?
Well,
so,
absolutely.
And, I mean, even just sometimes owning how we feel with other people as well. We do a processing every day if we're running classes, and it's just checking in and saying, how do you feel right here, right now? Because how we feel changes from moment to moment, and a lot, unless you've done some deep emotional work, you may not be aware, but very much, again, another little tool we can teach you is that just by owning how you feel, and we use 4 categories, which are mad, sad, glad and scared. And sometimes, you know, when you wake up and you're just feeling a little bit scared and a little bit angry or sad, just owning it and saying to someone, you know, I'm just feeling a bit sad this morning. And it's just nice to know that you don't necessarily want sympathy, but just owning it with somebody else and just going, yeah, I'm just feeling a bit sad about that, and a little bit scared and anxious because I don't really know what's going on at the moment. And just like, okay. And then you can just let it go. I mean, we would say take a few breaths and just let it go. Just own how you feel, and then it's just a real simple one. Try it, because the results are amazing. Just by saying, oh, actually, right here, right now, I just feel a bit crappy. I just don't know why. Just let me have my coffee, and you have your coffee, and you feel 10 times better. And it's just owning how you feel emotionally, and just going, okay, well, that's all right. Not judging any of it.
Yeah, and if I could sort of just quickly add to that, you know, if you're sort of on the receiving end of that, maybe your partner comes in and says, this is how I'm feeling, just ask them, okay, so what do you need?
Yeah, don't jump in and assume you know what they need, but just ask them, well, what do you need? Do you need a hug, or do you just need to be told it's going to be all right?
Yeah,
and sometimes it is just that. So, great, so we're just going into another break, and we'll see you after the break.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hey, so welcome back, everybody. So the third part of the show, we really wanted to, again, just see what we could do to maybe reach out and help others. So obviously we've given you some tools that you can use in your daily life, and I challenge you to do that and get back to us, respond, let us know how you get on. And the third part we wanted to go into is just sort of getting out a lot more support for. There's a lot of people struggling with mental health. Like it's almost like that. It's all very well me talking about how I'm doing well and how I'm finding it because I have the tools. But what if you're not finding it easy? What if it is really consuming you? Where do you go? Who can you speak to? And that's why we started to talk about sort of, again, another challenge. It's sort of reaching out to 5 people each day, reaching out to a few old school friends, or joining a community of people, whether that's an online one like Acorn to Oaks community page on Facebook, or whether that's another community. It's doing something that can make you feel part of something and make you feel as
gives you that sense of purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, very much so, because I think that's what people are missing at the moment. And one other than that sort of purpose, it's the human contact that we're all needing. And so wanted to spend a bit of time on the mental health side of things. What can you do if you're not getting the help and support that you need? And right here, right now, reach out to us. We're 2 people, and I know Pennie and the community at Acorn to Oak are with us on that one. It's like, reach out to people that can, even if it's just a chat. One thing that a lot of people have been doing for the NHS is volunteering to be sort of chatting to people if they're feeling down or they feel some support. So even just a chat can help someone sort of just reflect on what's really going on and gain some clarity around it. And a chat, as we said earlier, a little chat to one person can change 100 lives. And so it's like, if you are struggling, like, stop telling yourself that you can do this on your own. Stop telling yourself that you're a burden. Stop telling yourself that you can't speak out. It's because I used to tell myself the same things. Do it. Find that support. If you feel you're getting it, I know a lot of people within the UK, and something my own brother suffered with was trying to get effective help from the medical professions. And don't get me wrong, I'm not poo-pooing them, because I think they run a very, very good service. However, I do think there are faults within the system, and so people don't necessarily get the support. And bless them, charities and even these medical services, with a lot of people being in lockdown and a lot of people being, as Adam was saying earlier, almost having that monkey mind where you've got more time on your hands, so you're noticing the monkey mind or the stories or whatever it is, or the anxiety, depression coming up, whatever it is, it's intensified because we're on our own more. People use distraction to get through anxiety. People use distraction to get through depression. A lot of people are turning to art and things like that, and there was an argument going on that someone was saying that you shouldn't be allowed to buy paint at the moment because it's not an essential job. But as Adam said, well, if somebody was mentally ill and what would get them through the next week would be painting their new flat, which would distract them from what's going on outside and give them, oh, I've just refreshed my home, then they should be allowed to buy paint. And so there's lots of different things that distraction is used, and when they haven't got that time and their time isn't filled, that's when the bad starts, Yes, yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's reaching out to people and realising that you don't have to do this alone, and there are people out there that are more than willing to chat, and actually who have been there, who have been through the dark times and understand what it's like. And I know it's personal to everybody, so there can be some differences in experiences and all of that, but hey, there were times when I didn't even want to get out of bed, and I had anxiety so bad that I wouldn't do things because I was so scared that sort of something wouldn't work out, and not necessarily that I would be harmed, but I would just hold myself back. And it's just hearing some of the stories on the radio station I was listening to earlier, it really inspired me to reach out and say to people, I really wish I could have been on the phone to one of the people on the radio station, because I think just a few words could have really, really helped them. And I would have told them what I'm telling you, only I get to tell you more, which is what I'm using as a daily practice, and it makes such a difference. And so if teaching people helps, then great. And obviously telling people to reach out is so important, because there is that community spirit, and there's a lot of people out there that can help. But look to a trusted professional, look to somebody that's got some credibility that can really, really help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in doing those actions, it's sort of the overall theme tonight has very much been around inspiration and that sort of thing. But in doing those actions and in taking those steps, whether it is for a personal note or taking up the challenge and phoning 5 people, I don't know, one of the big things for me in the past was always, well, I'm just Adam, what can I do? I can't do anything, I can't change the world. And to be honest, it's not actually about that. You don't have to change the world, but having that nice gesture, taking care of your own mental health, sharing your experience of what you do, if you suffer with mental health issues and that sort of thing. I was talking to a client of mine, and she suffers with anxiety and depression. She said, one of the things that she lives for at the moment is going out for her walks every day.
Yeah.
Because that's what she puts her focus towards, and that's what she's working towards. So when she's having a real bad day and you know, the world is on her shoulders and a little bit more. Her focus is, right, at 3 o'clock I'm going out for a walk for an hour or however long she decides.
Yeah.
But it is, but in doing that, and, you know, she actually chose to put a post up on Facebook about it, to share that, and it's like, well, in her own way, she's an inspiring person, and you don't have to change the world, but do something nice for someone, have a phone call with someone, and you may just change that person's world.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be on the grand scale. I don't know. Just for me, it's sort of, I just really felt like I wanted to say that, because we don't have to offer, and I know you sort of said this, you don't have to offer millions and that sort of stuff.
No, I mean,
you just need to take care of yourself, and then if and where you can, try and help and support others, you know, or at least for me, that's sort of how I see it, you know. It's just, if everybody does a little bit, then we don't, you know.
Yeah, and I think, sort of taking us back to the subject, really, that's what I think the Queen speech has done so much. Like, so many shares and so many people have been sort of talking about it and being, it really feels like Great Britain again. Like we actually can make a difference. I mean, I know, just another inspiring person again, James Dyson. I mean, I can't remember the statistics offhand, but they not only designed and got to production new ventilators within a very short time period, but again, it was like British engineering stepping up, getting the job done, and it's kind of like, so why don't we do this the other 90% of the time? Why do we only perform at our best when we're in coronavirus? It's kind of like, Jesus, we need to, but it's taking that from it and going, wow, actually, we're so capable, so much more capable, and we're so capable that we don't need to be scared here. Like, this is not going to wipe us all out. It's not. Preppers, unprep. There's not going to be a zombie apocalypse, because, it's just being very real about it. And I know if people are struggling, it can feel very big, but take practical steps to get through it. And as Adam was saying there, Will Smith, very, very inspiring guy. Start watching some of their videos on YouTube. Start looking at what you're looking at. So, are you just watching the news all day, or are you just watching Tiger King box set? What is it that you're feeding your mind with? If it were food, would you fill your stomach with junk food, which, to be honest, isn't an option at the moment anyway? But would you feed yourself with junk food, or would you give yourself a nice, nutritious meal? And so it's looking into what you're watching. Stay away from conspiracy theories at the moment, and it's just, it is that feed your brain with good stuff. I happened to see the same post Adam was talking about earlier, and my interpretation of what this girl was saying, that it was the walk that was making the difference, and that's what she was really gaining from it. For me, it felt like actually it was her connecting with nature, and it was that walking in nature and breathing that nice fresh air and listening to the birds and the wind through the trees and realising actually this is all that matters, and I'm always safe, and I'm always all right. And that's, for me, what I took from it. And it's kind of, it's using all the tools we have at the moment to make this the easiest experience of a complex situation. And it's keep going. It's whatever you're doing, keep on keeping on. And if you need help, you reach out to the relevant people. Don't be a stranger to people you've been a stranger to in the past. Often we, as Adam was saying earlier, we don't keep in touch with the people that we need to enough. So use that 5-day challenge, connecting with 5 people a day, and as we said again, joining a community, connecting with inspirational people, maybe following them on Instagram, whatever it is. Put some really effective tools in place and a daily practice whereby you've got the time, so you might as well test our theories and say, okay, well, today I'm going to try healing sounds. And again, if you didn't hear it earlier and you'd like some printouts or something on this, just get in touch with us through Acorn to Oak and we'll get the relevant information across to you so that you can start getting a daily practice in. And if nothing else, it will just give you a little bit of focus, and hopefully bring in a bit more joy and passion. And by doing that, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone that you think might be interested in it, because then you can teach them, and then you've inspired them to do something. It's like,
and I mean, especially with families and healing sounds and kids. I mean, I do it with my nephew all the time. Kids love it.
It's brilliant fun.
Because
really
to them, they're just making silly sounds and noises, and it probably in their conscious mind doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But my God, you all feel better after it, and you have a good laugh and a joke either way. You know, it's it really is worth trying these things, exploring these things. You know, we're out of our comfort zone as it is, so let's push it a bit more and see what we can do. You know.
Yeah. So just very quickly, if you've got a family, there's some other stuff we can add in there. So get in touch and you can do a family process. So it's been really great speaking to you, and I hope you've been inspired by some of what we've talked about. We've been inspired to tell you. So good luck, stay safe, be kind to each other, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.